Henrik Ibsen, Ghosts. Should we read the note? We'll do a little quick read. Beginning with Pillars of Society in 1877, the Norwegian poet and playwright Henrik Ibsen, born 1828, died 1906, wrote a group of realistic problem plays that constitute his most familiar and enduring work. The most notable of these are A Doll's House and Ghosts. In A Doll's House, he had drawn fire by having Nora slam the door forever on her husband, Torvald. Ibsen was reproached for attacking the sanctity of marriage, lauded as a suffragist, and called by others an advocate of free love, labels that met Ibsen's indignation. The criticism of Nora was so intense that Ibsen was persuaded at one point to write a new ending in which she returns for the sake of her children. But 2 years after A Doll's House, Ibsen had his real answer to the critics in Ghosts. Miss Alving, with her conventional respect for marriage in spite of a dissolute husband. Miss Alving is the tragic antithesis of Nora. Written in Italy, 1881, Ghosts was first produced in Chicago, in Norwegian, before making its way slowly across the stages of Europe. It dealt openly with venereal disease, incest, and euthanasia, which caught the eye of critics and earned the consternation of the public, who thought Ghosts was primarily a play about Oswald's inherited illness, rather than the unhappy consequences of Miss Alving's conformity. At the time, Ghosts had considered a naturalistic drama, and many people misread the conventions it attacked. What makes the play a landmark is primarily a matter of form. Ghosts was written in an everyday prose, with a compact classic structure at a time when classic unities had been largely abandoned. It recalls Greek tragedy in its austerity and explorable unraveling, but unlike the Agamemnon, which is the result of breaking moral code, the tragedy in Ghosts is the result of Miss Alving's unwillingness to break it. Spoiler alert. In addition, Ibsen significantly altered the notion of dramatic action. The action in Ghosts is a priori to the rise of the curtain. What one gets in the intensification of a latent crisis as it is made public, revealing the inner lives and subterfuge of the characters. Ibsen's exposition calls for time. He has had a major influence on technique. These qualities have helped define modern drama and establish Ibsen as the foremost dramatist of his time. Bloop. The characters are Miss Alving, a widow, Oswald Alving, her son, an artist, Manders, the pastor of the parish, Engstrad, a carpenter, Regina Engstrad, his daughter, in Miss Alving's service. The action takes place at Miss Alving's house, on one of the larger fjords of western Norway. There's a fjord that way. And this is Norway, not America. Ghosts, Act 1. Scene: a large room looking upon a garden, a door in the left-hand wall, and two in the right. In the middle of the room, a round table with chairs set about it, and books, magazines, newspapers upon it. In the foreground on the left, a window, by which a small sofa with a work table in front of it. At the back of the room opens into a conservatory rather smaller than the room. From the right-hand side of this, a door leads to the garden. Through the large panes of glass that form the outer wall of the conservatory, a gloomy fjord landscape can be discerned, half obscured by steady rain. Engstrad is standing close up to the garden door. His left leg is slightly deformed and he wears a boot with a clump of wood under the sole. Regina, with an empty garden syringe in her hand, is trying to prevent him coming in, which is his daughter. Regina. What is it you want? Stay where you are. The rain is dripping off you. Engstrad. God's good rain, my girl. Regina. The devil's own rain, that's what it is. Engstrad. Lord, how you talk, Regina. What I wanted to tell you was this. Don't clump about like that, stupid. The young master is lying asleep upstairs. Asleep still? In the middle of the day? Well, it's no business of yours. I was out on the spree last night. I don't doubt it. Yes, we are poor, weak mortals, my girl. We are indeed. And the temptations of the world are manifold, you know. But for all that, here I was on my work at 5:30 this morning. Yes, but make yourself scarce now. I am not going to stand here as if I had a rendezvous with you. As if you had a what? I am not going to have anyone find you here. So now you know, and you can go. Not a bit of it. No, before we have had a little chat. This afternoon, I shall have finished my job down at the schoolhouse, and I shall be off home to town by tonight's boat. Pleasant journey to you. Thanks, my girl. Tomorrow is the opening of the orphanage, and I expect there will be a fine kick-up here and plenty of good, strong drink, don't you know? And no one shall say of Jacob Engstrand that he can't hold off when temptation comes in his way. Yes, because there will be a lot of fine folk here tomorrow. Parson Manders is expected from town, too. What is more, he's coming today. There you are, and I'm going to be precious careful he doesn't have anything to say against me. Do you see? Oh, that's your game, is it? What do you mean? What is it you want to humbug Mr. Manders out of this time? Shh! Are you crazy? Do you suppose I want to humbug Mr. Manders? No, Mr. Manders has always been too kind a friend for me to do that. But what I wanted to talk to you about was my going home tonight. The sooner you go, the better I shall be pleased. Yes, only I want to take you with me, Regina. You want to take me? What did you say? I want to take you home with me, I said. You shall never get me home with you. Ah, we shall see about that. Yes, you can be quite certain we shall see about that. I, who have been brought up by a lady like Miss Alving, I, who have been treated almost as if I were her own child, do you suppose I am going home with you? To such a house as yours? Not likely. What the devil do you mean? Are you setting yourself up against your father, you hussy? You have often told me I was none of yours. Bah! Why do you want to pay any attention to that? Haven't you many and many a time abused me and called me a... For shame! I'll swear I never used such an ugly word. Oh, it doesn't matter what word you used. Because that was only when I was a bit fuddled. Temptations are manifold in the world, Regina. And it was when your mother was in a nasty temper. I had to find some way of getting my knife into her, my girl. She was always so precious genteel. Let go, Jacob, let me be, please, to remember that I was 3 years with the Alvings at Rosenwald, and they were people who went to court. Bless my soul, she never could forget that Captain Alving got a court appointment while she was in service here. Poor mother, you worried her into a grave pretty soon. Of course, I have got to take the blame for everything. That leg, too. What are you saying, my girl? Paix de Monton. Is that English? Yes. You have had a good education here, and no mistake, and may stand you in good stead now, Regina. And what was it you wanted me to come to town for? Need you ask why a father wants his own child? Ain't I a poor, lonely widower? Ugh, don't come to me with that tale. Why do you want me to go? Well, I must tell you, I am thinking of taking up a new line now. You have tried that so often, but it has always proved a fool's errand. Ah, but this time you will just see, Regina. Strike me dead if... Stop swearing. Shh. You're quite right, my girl, quite right. What I wanted to say was only this, that I have put by a tidy penny out of what I have made by working at this new orphanage up here. Have you? All the better for you. What is there for a man to spend his money on out here in this country? Well, what then? Well, you see, I thought of putting the money into something that would pay. I thought of some kind of an eating house or for seafaring folk. Heavens! Oh, a high-class eating house, of course, not a pigsty for common sailors. Damn it, no! It would be a place ship captains and first mates would come to. Really good sort of people. You know? And what should I... You would help me there, but only to make a show, you see? You wouldn't find it hard work, I can promise you, my girl. You should do exactly as you like. Oh, yes, quite so. But we must have some woman in the house. That is as clear as daylight, because in the evening we must take the place a little attractive. Some singing and dancing and that sort of thing. Remember, they are sea folk, wayfarers on the waters of life. Now, don't be a fool and stand in your own way. Regina, what good are you going to do here? Will this education that your mistress has paid for be of any use? You are to look after the children in the new home, I hear. Is that the sort of work for you? Are you so frightfully anxious to go and wear out your health and strength for the sake of these dirty brats? No, if things were to go as I wanted them to, then, well, it may happen. Who knows? It may happen. What may happen? Never you mind. Is it much that you have put by up here? Taking it all round, I should say about 40 or 50 pounds. That's not bad. It's enough to make a start with, my girl. Don't you mean to give me any of the money? No, I'm hanged if I do. Don't you mean to send me as much as a dress length of stuff, just for once? Come and live in the town with me, and you shall see. You shall have plenty of dresses. I can get that much for myself, if I have a mind to. But it's far better to have a father's guiding hand. Just now, I can get a nice house in Little Harbor Street. They don't want much money down for it, and we could make it like a sort of seaman. Oh, sorry, that was Eastrid. Ugh. Regina, just now I can get a nice house in Little Harbor Street. They don't want much money down for it, and we could make it like a sort of seaman's home. Don't you see? But I have no intention of living with you. I have nothing whatever to do with you. So now be off. You wouldn't be lying with me long, my girl. No such luck. Not if you knew how to play your cards. Such a fine wench as you have grown this last year or two. Well, it wouldn't be very long before some first mate came along, or perhaps a captain. I don't mean to marry a man of that sort. Sailors have no savoir-vivre. What haven't they got? I know what sailors are. I tell you, they aren't the sort of people to marry. Well, don't bother about marrying them. You can make it pay just as well. That fellow, the Englishman, the one with the yacht, he gave 70 pounds, he did. And she wasn't a bit prettier than you. Get out! Here, you're not gonna hit me, I suppose. Yes! If you talk like that out of mother, I will hit you. Get out, I tell you. And don't bang the doors. Young Mr. Alving is asleep. I know. It's funny how anxious you are about young Mr. Alving. Oh, is it possible that it is he that... Get out, and be quick about it. Your wits are wandering, my good man. Now don't go that way. Mr. Manders is just coming along. Be off down the kitchen stairs. Yes, all right, but have a bit of a chat with him that's coming along. He's the chap to tell you what a child owes to its father. For I am your father, anyway, you know. I can prove it by the register. He gets out through the farther door, which Regina has opened. She shuts it after him, looks hastily at herself in the mirror, fans herself with her handkerchief and sets her collar straight, then busies herself with the flowers. Manders enters the conservatory. Through the garden door, he wears an overcoat, carries an umbrella, and has a small traveling bag slung over his shoulder on a strap.